Well done.
So moving along to our third theme over here, we have DDX, which is the mobile native app for a decentralized exchange on top of Ethereum. Please, everybody, welcome DDEX.
Thank you. I'm going to say a little prayer to the presentation gods here. Hopefully they bless me today. All right, so, oh, it's not showing. There it is, all right. Off to a good start. All right, guys, my name is Scott Winges. I am the Director of Operations for DDEX and Hydro Protocol. I'm today demonstrating our mobile native trading app. So this is our new app. Has anyone here actually made trades for crypto on any sort of like exchange before? Show of hands. Yeah, it's like a lot of people. Has anyone actually made a trade on DDEX before? I talked to a couple people about, sweet, yeah, you guys are awesome, thank you. So we're actually bouncing between the second and third largest decentralized exchange right now in terms of trading volume. So without further ado, I'm going to kind of move into this a bit. I have a lot to talk about and not that much time, so I'm going to try to move fast. So probably the first question that you have is why DDEX? What are we? What makes us different? So we are a hybrid model, which means off-chain matching and on-chain settlement, decentralized ERC20 exchange. We're built on top of the 0x protocol settlement layer, and we utilize this Hydro protocol middleware, which I'm sure I've totally answered your question now of why DDEX, right? That made total sense. So I'm going to try to break it down a little bit in more English. So we offer non-custodial limit orders. We never hold on to your balances at all. It's fast, safe, and it has massive liquidity potential through this Hydro protocol that we've also created. So Hydro protocol is a middleware solution for sharing liquidity among exchanges. So it allows, right now the kind of exchange space for decentralized exchanges has some liquidity sharing potential, but you can't do it with high-end orders like limit orders and matching algorithms and stuff. So with Hydro protocol, you can do that, and there's actually incentive to do so. So there's incentive for the big dogs to share with the little dogs. So you can think about it as making this kind of global network of decentralized exchanges, which is what we're kind of, our vision is, but I'm going to try to move on a little bit more. We've heard some presenters already talk about why decentralized exchanges in the first place. This is one of those realms where we actually think that decentralization makes sense, hopefully. The current exchange model for this space is completely absurd. If anyone's ever been to the depths of Telegram for particular projects, when somebody comes in and asks, when Binance? You know the pain, you know the suffering. It's this weird model right now, right, where projects are actually paying these exorbitant listing fees to be listed on these high-end centralized exchanges. So literally millions of dollars for projects to list on these exchanges. This is millions of dollars that should be going to developing the product that right now is going to these centralized exchanges. So that, plus all the hacks, they have not only permission for your assets, but for your trading permissions, so they can make trades on your behalf, especially if you're an API user. I've written a lot about this, but I won't go into too much detail. Also, the trading volume is quote-unquote real for centralized exchanges because it's not on the blockchain. So kind of akin to if I was in high school, Scott, giving a report card and having it be blank and I could fill it out for my parents, I would probably give myself straight A's. So if I'm a centralized exchange, I'm probably going to say my trading volume is super, super high. Does anyone know on CoinMarketCap how exchanges are ranked? It's 24-hour trading volume. That's the only way they rank them, right? So, and they can't verify that. So, anyways, the point is that decentralized seems better, but yet, as you've seen in some other presentations, it's just not there yet volume-wise, and that's for technology reasons, usability reasons, a lot of other reasons. So, we aim to break a lot of the problems with DDEX with usability, and one of the things we're doing is this mobile native app, which hopefully will hit a target audience that doesn't have access to computers and stuff, which we currently have. So, it's actually a pretty large set of the world. So. All right, preface this by saying this is definitely beta. It's going to look prettier once we get moving, but this is what the app looks like. I'm not going to show you on my actual phone. There's no binoculars under your seats or anything, but this is what it looks like. You got markets, you have a wallet, you have the settings here. You can select what net you're on, you can select your wallet, all that type of stuff. This is actually live on mainnet, so you'll see we're actually going to do some stuff on mainnet a little bit later. This is kind of just the basic concept. You can import any sort of wallet you want, private key, pneumatic. You can even create a wallet here, which is what we're doing right now. So this is like just trying to make that usability really easy. There's a lot of different ways to do it. And this is kind of, again, now you're into looking at the markets and such. You see this unwrap thing, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. This is kind of like the basic structure of what we have. So that's what's currently existing. We have, this is our design for kind of what the future will look like, markets, charts, what the trading kind of looks like. So in the future, we're building towards this a little better. It's ready. We just want to have it look pretty. Of course, this is like not going to be just a talk about something Ethereum based if there's not barriers and problems, right? So one of the barriers that we have that you guys are probably more familiar with is this concept of wrapped Ethereum. Like ETH doesn't conform to ERC20 standards because it was made before that existed. So there's certain functions within the tokens that it doesn't have. And while we might be used to that, the vast majority of traders and people on centralized exchanges or people that are just curious in what a project is, they don't understand this concept. So having to have them wrap the Ethereum in something is a really, really big barrier to entry. We get more questions on this than anything else. So show you what it kind of looks like on the platform here. You have your ETH amount that's available in your wallet, and you're going to wrap it to WETH. Currently, in this wallet example, we have 0.5 WETH. We just wrapped 0.25. So hopefully all went well, and we can refresh it, and we'll be up to 0.75, and that's kind of how it goes. And so that's the WETH that you can use to trade, and it functions so you can trade wallet to wallet. So literally, the tokens go straight from you make the trade, and it's in your wallet, which I'll show you. This is going to be kind of what the WETH looks like when we upgrade things a bit. I'm going to move past it because we're running out of time. Again, there's more problems, more barriers. We also have to do this enabling thing. It's called enabling or unlocking. It has to do with the allowance feature in ERC20 tokens. But you have to do this in order to make trades. And again, I'm going to mention down here that canceling is free because of this hybrid model. So you might be familiar with some decentralized exchanges where canceling costs money. It does not on ours. But this is, again, another barrier to entry. So you have to enable this allowance function. So the last thing we're going to show here is actually making a trade using the mobile app. We got a bunch of different markets here. Naturally, we are going to trade our token, which is the Hydra Protocol token, which is, again, involved for the Hydra Protocol liquidity stuff. So we have our order book. This is like traditional, what you see on centralized exchanges with limit orders. We have our sell orders are in red, buy orders are in green. You can see the actual price we entered here is the lowest sell price, so this should go through immediately once it hits on the blockchain. We requested a whopping 20 Hydra Protocol tokens, so this is not millions of dollars or anything we're doing for this demo, but it's a little bit. In a second here, we're going to go back to see what your order looks like. It's pending here for this buy. You can kind of manage your orders there. If you have one that is unfilled, you can cancel the order. Again, that's free. And then he's going to refresh his total there, and you see the Hydra Protocol token knocks up another 20. Again, it's right in your wallet, so there's no lockups, no problems like that with the centralized exchange. So this is kind of the future, what it's going to look like as we upgrade a little bit more with this kind of more slick system where you can really have full control over this. And we believe that this is kind of the way that exchanges should be run in the future. There's still some barrier to entry and some technological issues, but I mean, we are running on mainnet now, so that's it. So thank you guys for having us. I really appreciate it.
That's great. Thank you. I have a question on one of the bullets you had there. It said massive liquidity via the Hydra protocol.
Yes.
Maybe I missed it, but I don't think you explained that. Can you explain how would you achieve that, and what is the Hydra protocol that you mentioned?
Yeah, I glossed over it pretty fast because I wanted to get to the actual demo. But so the Hydra protocol is our big middleware project. So you can think about DDEX as like our flagship exchange. It's like the first exchange of many decentralized exchanges that will be running on Hydra technology. And so the idea is that once you get all these different DEXs that hit all these different target audiences, whether it's shitcoins or like super premium coins or a target audience in Africa versus China, which is where a lot of my team is based, there's different markets, but yet some of the tokens do overlap. So if you get this huge network of DEXs, all of a sudden the liquidity starts to actually improve. Right now, the biggest complaint that traders have with DEXs is there's no liquidity compared to centralized exchanges, because that's where everyone is already existing. We already have, thousands and thousands of users there. So to chip into that as one exchange is going to be really, really hard, but to chip in as a network of exchanges that can kind of pool together and pool this liquidity through federated liquidity pools, that's really like the vision of our whole project.
So how will you achieve the massive liquidity? Well, I'm not understanding the difference.
Yeah, so basically, in the exchange world, there's a lot of different projects, a lot of different audiences that all want tokens and all want to contribute in certain ways, but with one exchange, you're not hitting it. Like even if you look at the top 3 centralized exchanges, a lot of the tokens are the same tokens. So why don't they just trade on one exchange instead of 3 exchanges? Well, because they're not built for certain audiences in mind. So to have this, if they could share liquidity, even if like the 5th and 6th top centralized exchanges could share liquidity, they would all of a sudden be the #1 exchange. So it's just like the pooling together is the idea. Now getting people to I think you're talking about bootstrapping it a little bit. We're working on that through some designated liquidity providers and working with specific DApps that want to have their own exchange. So there's a lot of apps that for example, virtual reality wants to have an exchange built into a virtual reality thing that they can do without having to go, I need to log into my centralized account and provide my password, but have their MetaMask already there and they can just do it. So there's a lot of different ways for trying to tackle it, but it's the biggest issue for sure. Hopefully I answered that well.
Cool, thank you. So if I understand correctly, all of these transactions are being sent onto the main Ethereum chain, is that correct?
That is correct.
Are you thinking of ways to scale up further past the 15 transactions per second limit?
Absolutely. So it would be awesome if we were already at the point where we were bumping up against that limit, but we're not there yet. So I think there's a lot of different scalability solutions that sound good. I think a lot of people say that Plasma seems like a natural scalability solution that would couple well with decentralized exchange. And I'm inclined to agree, but honestly, whichever solution ends up happening first is going to be whatever we're going to take advantage of. So whichever one works the best is what we'll use. But I think just from a gut instinct, I think Plasma makes the most sense for decentralized if we can make it happen. Yeah.
So this is a follow-up really to the liquidity question.
For sure.
So I understand that there's going to be a pool of centralized exchange liquidity from various decentralized exchanges that this will be connected to. But is there going to be something that you can do at the fee structure level to incentivize people to make liquidity through this DApp?
Absolutely, yeah. So that's one of the uses of the token. The Hydro Protocol token has a few different uses, but one of them actually is for liquidity providers. So we basically, similar to a lot of different concepts, you could stake this token, and then by staking this token and providing liquidity, you can get a percentage of it back. And the idea for exchanges that are sharing, for example, if I'm a really big exchange and some new exchange is coming and they want to take orders off of my order book, basically, because they're going to share, they're going to get the big exchange is going to get some Hydro tokens to compensate for that sharing, and the other exchange is going to pay in the Hydro tokens.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Follow-up question.
Yeah.
If I wanted to trade, let's say, DAI for USD Tether with a counterparty that I don't know, but we've agreed a price amongst ourselves, let's say on a Telegram channel. Could I do it through this DApp? Could I implement it at a price that we've agreed on a separate channel?
So in the current setup of DDEX, we have one type of order, which is limit orders. However, we want to have a bunch of different types, and we want to have a bunch of different versions of that. So we want to have over-the-counter orders. We want to have market orders. We want to have, especially if you think about a model like GDAX, where they have market orders and limit orders, it's actually a really big benefit for limit orders to have those market orders. So we want to have them all. It's just a matter of building that infrastructure, for sure. Yeah.
So one of the biggest problems, whether it's even centralized exchanges or decentralized exchanges, is both the onboarding, the offboarding, right? Getting fiat into crypto. are you guys having any plans of creating gateways for somehow to get fiat onboarded to your platform?
Yeah, for sure. We're like trying everything. So we did just an onboarding thing where we basically had like, for the different stages that you went through on DDEX, you got tokens, Hydra Protocol tokens, like basically distributed to you. So if you like came onto our platform and logged in with your MetaMask, it's like you get a little bit. And then if you like wrapped Ethereum, then like you get a little bit more. If you like make your first trade, then like you get like a bunch. So we're doing like a little bit of onboarding with that. And we're also like working with a lot of different like DApps and talks with them to like, specifically make exchange that is catered towards their users, so that you already have, people that are fans of all these different DApps. We might as well like have something that actually caters to these people, as opposed to them having to like go to some weird exchange that doesn't make sense for them. So there's like a lot of different ways that we're doing that, but yeah, so we're exploring. We're open to options. We're talking with wallets. We're talking with DApps. We're talking with like everyone that we can to kind of make this network. So.
Any last questions, or we're good? All right, cool. Well, thank you so much.
All right, thank
Everybody,
you guys.
big
Really
round of
appreciate
applause.
it. And thanks to Carl for taking a picture with me yesterday.